Hello there, everybody. It's me, John, and yeah, this is in relation to a Facebook post I've just put up. But I just wanted to make a video. I just wanted to make a video about this as well, because it is something that's very dear to my heart. I mean, that's not very dear in a good way, but it is something that has both plagued me when I was younger and something that I still have and I live with on a daily basis. And this isn't a video that's like an attention-seeking video. I don't care how people probably see this video. The whole idea of me making this video is I wanted to be honest about what it was like for me, and how I can relate to the person in question that this video is kind of aimed at. Now, this is in relation to basically the post on Facebook, as well as this video. Obviously, they work hand in hand. Both the status and this video, they are, that's the whole point of both of these. Now, basically, as I say in my Facebook post, there was I just been looking, watching TV as you do, and just seen a TV trailer for a documentary with Jamie Oliver, TV chef, as it was, I had no idea he was dyslexic, to be honest, and that actually surprised me. But to be honest, there's a lot of people been coming out the woodwork saying that they are also dyslexic. There's a lot of it happening recently, and it's good to see. It's very encouraging to see other people within the entertainment industry, whether they're a singer, whether they're an actress or an actor, or anything, a musician, anything like that, where they're in the limelight, in the public eye. It is really cool to see that there is so many people that are becoming very open about it. But this is the first time I've seen something on the telly that is trying to change the education, try to kind of bring some change to the education system and bring a bit more support for, try to bring more support for people that are neurodiverse / dyslexic, because he feels, Jamie Oliver, as he says in the teaser trailer for the documentary, he basically says that in the articles and stuff that he's done, in the media to try and kind of like talk about it recently, he's basically said that he feels that the education system is failing the young demographic, the young kids. They feel that the education system is failing those that are neurodiverse or dyslexic. Then there's still a lot of room for improvement and support. And he feels that from what and he kind of like within this documentary, he goes into kind of, from what I can gather, he will go into his own personal battles and issues that he went through school and such. And then he is actually trying to go to Parliament and all that, and try and kind of like get some change through, in order for more support about those people that have dyslexia or neurodiverse people. So that's the point of the video today. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Obviously, yes. I mean, many of you already know I'm dyslexic, and no doubt I'll probably might get some people thinking, here we go again, John's on a, Knowlesy or John, he's doing it again, he's, talking about this and that. But I feel, in my opinion, I feel it's very, very important to be open about any disorders you have, whether you are comfortable to do that or not. Of course, each to their own. Not everybody is comfortable talking about things like this openly, which I completely understand and I respect. But for me personally, it is something that has plagued me. It is something that has plagued me. Not plagued me. It's a wrong way to say it, but it is something I've had to live with. Basically, it's something I've had to live with ever since I was a kid. Back when I got when I first went to school at the age of 5 when I went to primary. And yeah, let me just turn the telly off. This is part of my dyslexia. You know, the TV's playing off and my attention's drifting away. Yeah, basically, when I first went to school, officially went to school. You know, when I was a little kid, at the age of 5 or whatever, primary school. Yeah, I was basically yeah. Basically, from what I can only kind of gather from what my parents and what my family told me when I got a bit older, because obviously at the time I had absolutely no idea what was going on. Basically, the school kind of, I don't know if the school rung my mum or asked for my mum to go into the school to kind of discuss. They found that I wasn't really either paying attention, or some of the teachers basically thought I was either not paying attention in class, or I was like being a little kid, a little boy, doing stuff that you shouldn't do, kind of like poking people, and my attention was completely away from what the teacher was saying. At a 5-year-old kid, what do you expect to happen? So basically, there was stuff like that. So it was kind of like behavioural, I guess. Behavioural as well as, so like my behaviour, my attention in class was very bad. And also my grasp of like basic stuff like spelling, my reading age was very, very low of like national average. It was like non-existent practically. Of what my age was, obviously at the age of 5 or 6, I was basically the lowest in the in pretty much one of the lowest in the school when it came to reading age and it came to spelling, grammar, punctuation, all the understanding of all that, what goes into English language, all that stuff. I couldn't do it. I even struggled to be able to read the time and things like that. Maths, numeracy, I still to this day struggle with maths and numeracy. I just cannot get my head around maths at all. I can do basic maths, very basic, but I can't do anything like formulas or anything that requires like algebra or anything like that. I cannot get my head around any of that stuff. I've literally been to adult education classes since me leaving school and college. I've actually been to specialist adult learning places that are supposed to help people with dyslexia or other disorders, and even they pretty much kind of went, "Can't do much with you." That's the kind of the mentality I kind of got from it. So I got bugger all from going to those courses either. So there is still an issue in adult education as well as children's education. The whole education thing, I feel, is definitely failing those that are dyslexic or neurodiverse. I really do believe there is still an issue. There's still some stigma in the education system. There's just no I think there's better support as now in schools than there was when I was a kid. There is still specialist classes and specialist schools that are actually where the teachers are specially trained to deal with people that are either on the spectrum as well as neurodiverse and stuff like that. They are more, there are special schools where you can send kids to that are, disabled or neurodiverse, as well as, there is things you can do. There is places you can send your kids to that are more of a specialist school. However, when it comes to public school, I went to just a normal public school, and the teachers didn't know how to deal with people that were either on the spectrum or were neurodiverse or dyslexic. They had no idea. A lot of them just didn't even think it was a real disorder. A lot of the teachers I dealt with or had classes with thought I was just simply just making it up. Dyslexia was not a real thing. I was simply just an attention seeker. I was simply just nothing more than an attention seeker, and basically, I just could not focus on I just wasn't paying attention to what the teacher was saying, and I was just being my behaviour in class was very, very rude and this, that, and the other, and that was the stuff that my poor mum would hear. The school would either ring my mum or my parents or whatever, and basically my mum was getting really pissed off with the school. She was getting really pissed off. My mum was in and out of that school a lot with meetings with my head teacher, meetings with basically with most of the head teacher. I believe his name was Mr. Porteous, if I remember rightly. That was at my primary school. I do apologise if I got that name wrong. That just kind of came to my head weirdly. Luckily, the good thing is, right? The good thing is, because there was a headmistress. There was an old lady. I remember I've forgotten her name. I don't know if it was Mrs. Whitehead. For some reason that's coming into my head. The Whitehead, some Mrs. White something. And it was basically this old lady, and she was a proper battle axe, basically. I know that sounds bad to say, but she was a proper old battle axe. And she was a proper old-fashioned teacher. She definitely came from a point of time where the cane, where kids would get caned and basically, or get a ruler across the knuckles. That kind of stuff definitely came from that kind of educational history. She very much did not like me. She made it very apparent, even to my own mother. She said to my own mother, and apparently, my mum did not like her either. She even said to my own mother on a couple of occasions that she thought I wouldn't amount to anything in life. Which was lovely. So she was an awful woman, absolutely awful. But yeah, I don't know if she retired or if they basically forced her to retire. I don't know what happened, but she was an old woman, so she probably just retired. And then there was a younger head teacher came in, and he was a male head teacher. I believe by the name of Mr. Porteous, I believe, if I remember rightly. And he was a much nicer guy. He was a much nicer guy. He was easier to talk to. And thanks to him and his initiative and meetings with him and my mom and my family going in to talk about the issues that, certain issues, it was thanks to him, Mr. Porteous, my head teacher, that he actually authorised with the school nurse me to get tested for dyslexia. So basically, he approved it all, and the nurse, the school nurse, or physician or whatever she was. Where they kind of like tap your knee with a little hammer thing, like checking my reflexes and stuff. And she basically said, yeah, he's got dyslexia and he's also dyspraxic. So I have dyslexia and dyspraxia, which they have. Yeah, so dyslexia is more like the learning disorder sort of side, and the way you think, because it does cover different things as well. Dyslexia. It's neurodiversity, and then basically neurodiverse, should I say? And then basically, then you've got dyspraxia, which is basically coordination. Basically, I had issues with coordination and balance. It's like my equilibrium is a little bit off. So I would very easily, as a kid, I would just like fall over very easily. When I was in PE, I would twist my ankles a lot. You know, I was very bad I was very uneasy on my feet. So I was causing myself a lot of injuries when I was a kid. Yeah. But anyway, so getting back onto dyslexia. So yeah, basically, yeah, the school nurse, she, did all the tests and everything, and yeah, she said, we can definitely confirm, or she, said that I can confirm he is indeed dyslexic and he has dyspraxia. And then obviously we got a second opinion, obviously got tested by my actual GP at the time, and yeah, my actual GP at the time, and he also confirmed as well officially, and it is officially on my my original records, GP records, that I am indeed dyslexic and dyspraxic. So two opinions, and I definitely got it. And that's when the ball started shifting a little bit differently after that. And they started bringing in teachers' aides when I was at primary school. And my mum, she actually volunteered to be a teacher's aide. And she was in a couple of my classes. For obvious reasons, she wasn't allowed to help me because they felt obviously it's not fair on the other kids. So my mum would help other kids in class, but she would also keep an eye on me and keep an eye on what was going on in class. So my mum became a teacher's aide to basically keep, keep tabs of what's going on within the school, how the teachers are dealing with me, and how I am in class as well, so she could get the full picture. And then obviously, yeah, so she did that for I don't know how long, but I do remember she became a teacher's aide for a little while. And then yeah, then obviously that was primary school, and then I went up to middle school, high school, and that's when I in middle school, I think I was literally in the bottom class. I was in I think I was in 7J. I think it worked out. Was it 7J? I can't remember the class names now, but anyway. But yes, basically I was in the very, very bottom class. Very bottom class, and I had basically, it was like people that were either on the spectrum or had issues with like the curriculum, basically. That was on the curriculum when it came to maths and other stuff. So basically, it was a bit more. Even though I still struggled through middle school, but I did do better. I did improve through high school days when it came to reading age. When it came to my spelling and grammar, punctuation did improve. My reading age improved very much. And all that kind of jazz. My maths improved a little bit. But that's only because when I went to middle school, they brought in a specialist person. I believe her name was, I can't remember her name now, but anyway, so they brought in this woman who technically was kind of like a teacher's aide, but she was actually employed by the school, and she basically did extra classes. So in between, so like certain points of the day, she would see certain kids that had the same problem, or similar issues to what I had, like grasping certain things, and she would kind of sit with that person and kind of like try to kind of like, basically assist and help. And that's what I had for a bit. She was a really lovely woman. I actually had a crush on her, to be honest. I know that's a different tangent, but she was quite attractive. Anyway, but yeah, so basically she was really attractive woman, I must admit. So yeah, my focus was on other things other than my education. Uh, but no, but yeah, she came. So basically, the school middle school and high school, like upper school, like up until me leaving school, it was a bit better. I did get little bit more support, but there was still issues. It wasn't perfect. The most support I did receive from a dyslexia was in upper school, basically like high school, basically. So obviously, middle school, then going up to upper, and then basically I ended up in ASDAN class that was set up by the Prince's Trust, which is now King Charles organisation, charity. And then basically, yeah. So I went into that class, and I actually came on leaps and bounds actually through that class. I actually got really good support, and I actually got a lot of acknowledgement and a lot of encouragement from the people, from the teachers that I had in my ASDAN program. Uh, yeah, there was one time I almost got a story published, but I was very anxious when I was a kid. I didn't have much. I really didn't have any respect about myself at all. I know. Yeah, I was. Yeah, basically, it is a big regret that it is one of my biggest regrets that I never said yes at the time, but I didn't really fully understand the impact it could possibly bring. Whether I might end up on like Peter Levy, for instance, on BBC Look North, or something like that, and I just don't know how I would deal with something like that if that was to happen. That was just how my mind was working at the time. And basically, yeah, I did a story in my ASDAN program, and it was a thesis basically. It was like a end of year thesis. It was part of the coursework for the ASDAN class, to basically complete and pass school and leave basically. And so yeah, I did this story, and it was involving a guy called John Murphy. Yeah, RoboCop, John Murphy. But it isn't actual RoboCop, but I basically acquired the name Murphy because obviously RoboCop is Murphy. So yeah, so basically, long story short, it was basically a story where he's a detective inspector, a DI basically, and he's in America, and and in this sequence, I basically kind of like remember 9/11, of all the things to remember. But yeah, basically, I write in this story that he was there. This detective, this he was just a regular police officer back in 2001 when the attacks happened, 9/11. And so this story revolves around him witnessing his partner dying in the collapse of the World Trade Centers. And he was there basically doing his job and trying to get civilians away, to try and get people to safety. And that's basically the ins and outs of what the story entailed. And I actually got pulled aside by my teacher for the ASDAN class, and she basically told me that because all the stories would actually seen, would actually get checked over by an actual publisher. They would actually kind of like get judged by an actual publicist, and if they felt and that was basically if it was good enough, then they probably might consider publishing it. And that's basically the question I was asked, and apparently they really liked my story. And the fact that I put a lot of detail in there when it came to what happened with the World Trade Center, the 9/11 issue, and just coming up with it off the blue, out the blue like that. And they were quite surprised just how about that. And yeah, I was asked a question if I would like the short story I did to actually be published, properly published. I don't know where. It might have been like a magazine. I don't know, but no, I said no, and it is one of my biggest regrets. I didn't see that through. But anyway, it's one of them, innit? You live and learn. You make mistakes in life. But no, yeah. So I've been, with me being dyslexic, I have been made to feel. When I was at school, I was made to feel nothing, nothing short of worthless. Basically, nothing short of worthless. I wouldn't. Basically, I had teachers, say to me, to my face, and also say to my mum's face as well, and to my parents and stuff. I will not amount to anything in life. I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to do that. It made my mother, my poor mother. She was in and out of that school, and she was crying and sobbing in front of my head teachers and other faculty staff, trying to get some sort of acknowledgement and trying to get me tested as well for being dyslexic. And thanks to my mum's perseverance and constantly going in that school, it actually did get some change, and it actually did, help other kids out as well, not just myself. And obviously thanks to ASDAN. I mean, I think ASDAN is a fantastic thing. I think when that got launched, I think it was a great idea because it was more specially adapted for people that are neurodiverse or on the spectrum as well as dyslexic. So it was actually more developed for people with those issues. But yeah, that's my story. So yeah, I mean, the moral of the story is the fact that I am dyslexic doesn't mean I can't do anything. In a way, I have kind of surprised myself in some ways of what I have accomplished, even I haven't accomplished much in life. But I do have a car, I have a driver's license, I'm able to drive, I can ride a bike, a push bike, which is something I struggled with because I've been dyspraxia with my balance and coordination issues. But I can ride a push bike. There's nothing much I've really accomplished in life, but I have been places. I have a job. I do have a full-time job now. I am earning money, something that teachers at school, teachers when I was a kid said, when I was a kid, teachers said to me that I wouldn't be able to land a job, I wouldn't be able to do anything as a job. But I do have a job, so so that's that. But yeah, so the moral of the story is, despite what you are, if you are somebody that is neurodivergent, neurodivergent, if you are someone that's neurodivergent or dyslexic or on the spectrum, just, yeah, it's all about belief, I mean, it might be a bit different in schools now compared to when I was a kid. It might be a bit more supportive. There might be more resources there for kids now. I don't know. But when I was leaving school, it did seem it was going in a certain direction. But the fact seeing that documentary teaser with Jamie Oliver is making me think that there is still issues and there is still room for improvement. And I really hope what Jamie Oliver's doing with that, I really hope it does open a bit more doors and it does open a bit more awareness of what dyslexia, what it's all about. I really hope it does help people, and it does. I really hope it does create a bit of change in the education system, as I really hope it does. And at the end of the day, just because we're dyslexic or neurodivergent, it doesn't mean we are useless. It doesn't mean we cannot amount to anything in life. We can amount to anything. We can do anything. We can do whatever anybody else does. We can do it all. It's just how we process information is different. That's the point of dyslexia. It's how we process information. When it comes to me, I can only grasp something visually. When it comes to education for me, I can only process new information as a visual thing. When it comes to, say, like a textbook or through text, I struggle to process information as in reading it in a textbook or in a book. I have to have like a physical or visual aid. So basically, for instance, say, I don't know, somebody, basically I'm helping somebody decorate the house, and I've never done it before, and they basically want me to do something over there, and I'm like, I've never done it before, and okay, so that person shows me, gives me like a demonstration of what to do, and then I'm able to then somehow kind of process that, and then I go ahead and I end up doing it. That's how I process information, and that's how I learn. That's just how I process information, which is different to other people. Other people will basically just go, right, okay, and do it. Not me. Not me. Not me. Definitely not me. But that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. So, yeah. Whether you like Jamie Oliver or not is one of those things. But the fact is that he's been very open and talking about what's happened to him when he was a kid, his experiences being, with dyslexia, neurodiverse and all that. I have a bit more. I have respect for him for that, because it does take a lot of courage to be open about what happened when he was younger, and being open about whatever disorder you have or issues you have, and the fact that he's acting upon it and trying to get change, trying to see about some change when it comes to the education system, when it comes to support for people like us, then I actually have a lot of respect for that, and I really hope what he is seeking to change, or what he's trying to do, I really hope it does happen, and I hope it does a bit more of encouragement, within the education system for us. I really hope it does help. Well, thank you. Take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon. Bye-bye.